and welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment. Yeah. So, sis, what do you have first this week?
Okay, so this week I want to talk about everything I'm doing this week is going to be Netflix.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, I want to talk about That 90s Show.
Oh,
So, before I was telling you about how, L Word had it going from, it canceled and then,
came back. Yeah.
So that 70s show ended up doing that, and they brought in that 90s show. Now, it does have all the original characters on it. So, you still have Will Valderrama, Laura Prepon, Tommy Chung, still on there as Leo.
Yeah.
Topher Grace, Mila Kunis, who else?
Ashton Kutcher.
Deborah Jo Rupp is still Kitty, the mother.
Okay, Kitty, yeah.
And then Kirkwood Smith is Red, the father. So it's everybody's in there. But the only thing is, now it is 1995.
Oh, okay.
And Donna and Eric have a daughter that's 15.
Oh, wow.
And they come to visit Kitty and Red.
Ah.
So, we come in to visit Kitty and Red, and now with the granddaughter Leah being there, she's like, all right, I'm just going to hang around and see what's going on around here.
Right.
Sees a girl from next door and is like, oh, you seem like a cool person. And then they end up being friends. Also, Leah is a little awkward person.
Okay.
So she doesn't really have friends back at home.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So now she's talking to this girl, Gwen, who ends up being her best friend.
Okay.
And then Gwen introduces her to, get this, another Kelso. Then you have, what's his name? Oh my God, I can't find it. Okay. But yeah, you do have another Kelso that's there, Jay Kelso, and he is Michael Kelso, Ashton Kutcher's son in it. His name is Mace, Coronel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it ends up being good. So you got with the new people, you have, Sam Morales as Nikki.
Okay.
Who's another one of the friends. Maxwell Ace is Donovan or Nate. He's another friend. You have, I'm going to say it's Ren, Doy as Ozzy. And Ozzy is the LGBT character.
Oh, okay.
And he is fabulous because he just befriends. What he's trying to do is he's trying to build up the courage to tell everyone that he is gay.
Oh, he's not out yet.
He's not out yet. Okay. So he's out to all his friends, but nobody else. But nobody else pays attention, or as nobody else is saying that they pay attention to him because he is fabulous, and I'm there for it.
Okay, awesome.
Best. Excuse me. So, with all of this being said, like I said, it's 1995, still in Point Place, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So with Leah being there and she has friends, now it's time for Eric, Donna, and Leah to go ahead and leave and go back to their home.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to have the experience that you had, you and Mom had, Dad. So I want to stay here with Grandma.
Oh,
and Grandpa.
Yeah. With her new
but no,
friends.
Just for the summer.
Just for the whole summer.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha. Okay.
And Kitty is so happy. Kitty's like, yes, because ever since Eric has been gone, the house has been so cold and lonely and quiet, and I don't have anything to do. And Red is just like, no, absolutely not. I don't want you here. It's going to bring other kids here. Yeah. They're going to be running through my house. I don't want to do it.
He's glad to not have everybody in the basement.
Exactly. Kitty says, come on, honey, bring all your friends down to the basement. I'll go get snacks.
Yeah.
So now that's how that ends up starting with Leah staying with Kitty and Red and getting all her new friends. Aww. And they do all the same stuff that her parents did. So they're smoking weed in the basement. Mm-hmm. They actually end up, Kitty comes and brings a box of board games. It was like, here you go, kids. You can play this game. And when they open up, Monopoly, it is a brown bag and it has weed in it. And it was like, yo, your grandma just hooked us up with the stash.
Did they really think she did that, or did they realize that the parents actually?
I don't know. They really didn't say anything, but I'm pretty sure they realized that. But It's so cute. I mean, the water tower. They're still going up to the water tower. They're still going to the little diner. So I mean, like everything is really cute, and how it's all set up. It's like the same thing, but just like newer generation,
slightly different. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so funny. It's really cute, quirky. So I like it. If you want to check it out, that '90s show on Netflix. I think it might be like 10 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So now, a question I have. So. Are all the youth of the 70s show parents in the 90s show, or is it just that she has friends, but none of them are the friends of like...
Yeah, the only one is Jay Kelso, who is Mila Kunis, and is Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher's their son.
Okay, so they did, because I didn't watch the end of that 70s show to know how that ended, because at one point she was with the other guy.
Oh, yeah, no, the whole thing is like, there's like one part where Ashton Kutcher comes in and he's talking to Kitty and Red, and then then just like Mila Kunis just storms in and she's like yelling and screaming. I was like, Michael, let's go. Mm-hmm. We're gonna be late for our wedding. He's like, look, we've already been married like 3 times. Okay, this time is gonna work. So calm down. Give me some time. I'm like, oh man. So you can tell that they still have that on again, off again relationship.
Okay, yeah. Got it.
It's still a hot mess, but
got it. All right,
I'm here for it.
Like, be there for it.
What do you have, ma'am?
So I have first. It's kind of a deep it's a deep show, but Hunters. So I know you've watched this as well. So Hunters, I'll start with the cast and then I'll get into the premise of the show. But the cast has, first and foremost, the incredible Al Pacino.
Yes.
So he is Meyer Offerman. And he is like I'll get into it. It's hard to even try to explain it at this point. But anyway, so he's on the show. Then you have Josh Radnor, I can't talk, who is Lonnie Flash. So if you watched How I Met Your Mother, he was like Ted on How I Met Your Mother. So to just put things in perspective of who he is. Logan Lerman, I don't know Logan Lerman. Like, I just never knew him as an actor, but I think you had said you had seen him in some other things that like the main character.
I can't remember who
wears the
Percy Jackson kid?
Yeah, Percy Jackson.
Percy
that's what
Jackson.
You said. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool to see him grow up and go from like being Percy Jackson, where I'll see you on a movie and you're 15, to now you have you're a grown man. You got a full beard, you get the long hair and stuff like that.
Right,
so, I mean,
right.
And
So he looks grown. Yeah, exactly. And I'll go through some of these other names. You have Tiffany Boone, who's Roxy, and she actually used to play in The Chi. She was the girlfriend of one of the characters who had his food truck before they both kind of went off the show. Then you have Kate Mulvaney, and she plays like a nun character, really. Like, she's a sister, so they call her Sister Harriet. So she's on the show. And it's just a various cast of characters. You have Jerrica Hinton, who plays Millie Morris, an FBI agent, and she's in there. You have Dylan Baker, who nobody ever knows his name, but when you see his face, you are always like, oh yeah, I know that guy. That guy is in everything. But he plays a guy named Biff Simpson. And so and Carol Kane, she's amazing as well. So she plays Mindy. She's awesome, and she's married to Murray, who is Saul Rubnick. So there's a lot of different actors in this that once you start looking at it, you'll recognize their face. And I mean, it's a great cast. The last person they have is Joe, and that's Louis Azwa. Chin-Chang. So just to kind of give you a full example. So I'll go into the storyline, because that can kind of explain why all these cast of characters come together. So I'm going to be like Sophia from the Golden Girls. Picture it. Sicily. But that's kind of how this whole show starts. So it's like, picture it. You're in a backyard. It's a cookout going on at the homeowner's house. Everybody seems to be having a good time, eating food, being by the pool, in the pool, hanging out, everybody, husbands, wives, everything's going well, beautiful sunny day. all of a sudden one of the guest wives realizes who the husband is. So she starts screaming in the backyard and like shaking and saying that he's a Nazi war criminal and that he was a butcher and he slaughtered a lot of Jews. And so what it is that she says, hey, he killed, hundreds of Jews. He's a murderer, and everybody's looking at her like, what the heck is she talking about? Like,
because
what?
you're at a cookout. Like,
Exactly.
How are you going to talk about somebody being a Nazi person? We're at a cookout, bro.
Right.
We're not even. What are you
talking about? Exactly. And so she's just yelling and screaming and going on, and he's like, okay, this woman is obviously having some type of episode. I don't know what's going on. I'm not understanding what she's saying, and she's just insistent that he's a Nazi. And so all of a sudden, the husband reaches underneath the grill, pulls out a gun, and shoots everybody dead in the backyard, including her husband, his wife, his 3 children, neighbors, whoever it was, and left her to be the last one. And then tells her that the blood of all those people is on her hands because she has now ruined the 30 years that he spent building this persona of being this, like, I guess it was in Alabama or something. He's like, yeah, I'm just a country guy. I don't know what she's talking about. Like, what's going on?
And then all of a sudden he has that
German accent, and he's just talking to her with his German accent, and he's telling her that she is now ruined, basically, his life and all of the people around her. And she says, the Jews survived before, they'll survive again, even if you kill me, whatever. So then he points the gun at her head, starts speaking German again, and then pulls the trigger. And that's literally the first 5 minutes of this
if it's
TV
even
show.
5 minutes. It might be like the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, it is the very, very, very beginning of the show. And it does kind of draw you into what is going on. Like, it's the shock, of it. But then also, that's just one small piece. Like, I'm not giving anything away by telling you the first 5 minutes. It is a powerful story of the Jewish people who basically, with Al Pacino's character, are hunters, which is where the name of the show comes from. So they are people who go around trying to hunt the Nazis who came over to the United States after the war and after Hitler died to try to rebuild their life and basically
pretend like nothing happened.
Like nothing happened. And that, the American government in this show requested that they come over because at the time you had the Cold War and you had the United States and Russia fighting to get to the moon first, and there was so much stuff going on that they had an episode where they even talked about how the government at that time was like, look, if we don't have the minds of these Nazis basically come to the United States who were scientists and like engineers and things like that, then they're going to go to Russia and Russia will beat us in this war. Exactly. So therefore, we might as well take them in, have them reestablish themselves, change their identities. But that's, of course, a horrible thing to do.
Like, it's just, that's worse. It's the worst thing to do.
Horrific. And so therefore you have Al Pacino and his group of people who, like I said, is Roxy, who's a mom. You have the gentleman, what was his name? Percy, I guess, I forgot what his real name was on the show.
Logan.
Logan on the show. He's just a kid whose grandmother passes away, and he ends up joining this group because his grandmother was a part of this group with Meyer, or Al Pacino's character. Mm-hmm. You have Lonnie Flash, who's an actor. And you're like, how in the world did the actor get with this group? So it's just a hodgepodge of characters when you really think about it that Al Pacino has brought together. And they do go through the story of what he saw in each of them to pull them all together and to have them all work together to go on this mission. And but as they are actually trying to find the Nazis in the United States who have new identities and who, aren't, have done horrific things, the Nazis are actually trying to take out the people who escaped from the prison camps and, from concentration camps and everything.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
So much going on.
It's so many layers. It's so much going on. They even occasionally throw a comedic piece into it almost because it's too dark, you know.
But I feel like a lot of the comedic parts are with the nun because you're not expecting like the nun to be the nun.
Yeah, the nun. Or with Lonnie. Lonnie Flash, because Lonnie Flash is just like they needed an actor to do something, and Lonnie's like, why is everybody looking at me? And it's like, because you're an actor. Like, are you crazy? So anyway, but yeah, so it's a really powerful show to watch. It has, when I say twists and turns, it has some interesting twists and turns that aren't really expected. Or you might see them coming, but by the time you see them coming, you're already like 2 seconds away from them telling you that it's coming. Anyway, so, you know, but it's a powerful show for people who, you know, would be interested in watching that. It is on Amazon Prime. I think I failed to mention that at the beginning. Excuse me. And basically, you know, you were just watching it trying to figure out because, and the other thing that happened with the backyard situation, as I'm thinking about it in that first 5 minutes, he has a cleanup man who comes and like cleans up everything in the backyard to make it so that he didn't look like the suspicious one. And the cleanup guy, of course, has to shoot him because he has to say, I was here too when there was a slaughter. And then he even says, and this is just how you know how horrific people are when in the show, he says, you can blame it on a black man because in this country you can get away with anything if you say a black guy did it.
Yeah.
And so then they started doing sketches and all this stuff, and everything was focused on this black man that came into their backyard and shot up his whole family and then just shot him in the arm.
That's horrible.
And he played that to death. Like they were showing him, and like he had the ear of the president of the United States, and he actually was just like, well, when my wife and children were murdered and slaughtered in front of me, and it's like, oh my gosh, dude, you're the one that did it.
Exactly.
So it's just it's twisted. That's all I can say.
It's twisted, but it's good.
But it is good, and you know, people get what they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will just say it that way. So, anyway, that's what I had for the second topic is Hunters on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
and it's got 2 seasons.
Yeah, the second season just recently came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching them and finished watching it.
Yeah, and you can binge them because all of them have dropped. So, all right, what you got next?
All right, so for my next one, I have Ginny in Georgia. So season 2 is out. It came out last year. Super excited. It was really good. First of all, I love this show. It's very cute. I love the mother-daughter dynamic with the like little brother. It's a lot of things into this show. But just to give you some information about the TV show, this is on Netflix. Ginny in Georgia is about Ginny is like 15-year-old. All right. She's with her single mother and her little brother. Now the mom is got pregnant at 15 and had her and had like basically ran away from home and had to do any and everything she could to make sure that her daughter was taken care of. Now, also, Georgia is a white woman and her daughter is mixed. The father is a black man. So you do get that kind of information in there as well as far as like what Ginny goes through as being mixed and like how she navigates her life. Yeah. How she navigates her life. So, but the main thing about this is that there's not anyone in this show, as far as like the 3 main characters of the household of Ginny, Georgia, and Austin. Now, Austin's the little brother. Funny thing enough, Georgia's name is not Georgia in real life. I mean, on the show. On
the show, okay.
So she goes by Georgia because what she does is every time that she's in a new place, she makes up a name. So Georgia is like where she made up her name so she wouldn't be Mary anymore. She ran away.
Okay.
Then she had her daughter Ginny in Virginia. Her name is Virginia.
Oh, Ginny, got it.
And then she got with a guy, thought everything was good, and this was in Austin, Texas, and she had Austin. So everybody's named after like where they come from.
Yeah.
But now that Ginny is in that 15-year-old I hate my mother stage, it's so funny because like Ginny will make jokes to her mother like, yeah, Mom, real original. What are you gonna name this one? New Hampshire? Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I mean it's kind of cute, but it's kind of what I like about it is how the mother is actually, she's not trying to be overpowering as a mother to her. Mm-hmm. She's like, you're my best friend. Like, we've been friends since I was 15 years old. Mm-hmm. But she's also like, she treats her daughter as a human being and not as a child.
Okay.
But then sometimes it does come to backlash on her because of the fact that Jenny's like, but mom, you're my mom. Like, you have to tell me that this is wrong. She was like, I mean, you're going to do crazy stuff. Why would I tell you not to do that? She's like, I want you to do it. At least I know about it. Mm-hmm. Like, go ahead and do it. I guess she's trying to do it a controlled way of raising your child, where it's like, as long as I know what you're doing, I don't have a problem with it. I don't know. Anyway, so so now they're in this. So from the first season, they're in a small town. Now Georgia. The only reason that they are in this small town, it's like in like New England somewhere. Okay. The only reason that Georgia even wanted to go there is because she wants stability for her children. Okay. And she remembers when she was 15 years old, just found out she was pregnant. She was at like a bus station or a park or something like that. Ends up talking to this dude named, I think it was Joe. Yeah, ends up talking to this dude named Joe. And like, they're all kids. He gives her like a pair of sunglasses. He's like, oh, you like my sunglasses? Here, you can try these on, blah, 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 blah. And he talks about where he's from. Okay. And she was like, oh, that sounds nice. And then she talks about how she would love to live there. She wished she had a horse named Milkshake and blah, 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 blah. And it goes all into it. So, but then you get some tidbits of information of why that part right there just is part of the show. It's like, why is that even part of the show? There's something that comes out later on as to why that little aspect of her saying that comes out in the show. Now, with them now being in New England, Georgia's like, I have a home now because her husband died. He had a heart attack, and they just moved. They're trying to figure out what's going on with the life insurance policy, blah, 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 blah. So, basically what's happening is Georgia's trying to figure out what she's going to do to make sure she takes care of her kids. She bought a house, got it furnished. She needs to find, I guess, a job, some kind of stability, someone to like date or whatever. But everything in her is, this is for my children. Mm-hmm. But what happens is her past comes to haunt her so much, and that's what makes the show so good. Ah. And also, another thing that's kind of cool, which I do like, is how they do bring into the whole situation about like mental health. There are some things, self-harming things on the show that is like touched on, and how like people go through that. Yeah. They go through the dating with the adolescents and dating with the adults, and like how kids in high school date, and then how like the adults date, and it's exactly the same thing. Only thing is you don't have a homeroom class, or there's no bell. That's the only difference. Yeah. It goes into Jenny being in a predominantly white school, with her being the biracial girl, and then like she has like black friends and white friends, and how she deals with that, and people understanding, because she understands both sides. Right. She's trying to bring them together, and they're just like, yeah, I don't know where you're coming from. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Talking about how her mother and her father, goes through all that story, like how her parents met. Like she ran off with Jenny like years ago, and the father was looking for her the whole time. His name is Zion, but looking for her and couldn't find her, and it's like so much into that. But he is head over heels in love with Georgia. Georgia is in love with him. Georgia is not going to allow herself to be in love with him, because Georgia doesn't love love. Georgia loves stability or whatever she needs at the moment to survive for her and her children. So, I mean, I think it's kind of cool how they go into this with Netflix and everything, as far as like deep diving into some of these real situations that happen in life. So
right, exactly.
But it's season 2 now. Season 2. Georgia's getting married. Jenny is she's pissed off at her mom. Now she's going to live with her dad, but then it's like a back and forth thing there. It's just a lot into that. But then also, I do like how they slowly start to bring where Ginny is now, I guess, bouncing around between her friends and not just having one core friend group. She's getting to know more people, and like she's making her own spot. Well, she's used to moving around all the time, so now she's making everything her own. So I do like how they do that.
Yeah,
there's a little boyfriend interest. There's like 2 boyfriend interests. There's a lot of familiar faces on there that you might know. Some people from Schitt's Creek. You might know as well.
Oh, okay.
But I can go over who it is. So you got Brienne Howie as Georgia Miller. And then her daughter, Antonia Gentry, is Jenny Miller. You have Diesel Toroka as Austin, little boy. He's so cute, and he's so good at this. Felix Mallard ends up being a love interest. His name is Marcus. He has a twin sister named Maxine Baker, who was played by Sarah Wasglass. Who else is in here that we might know? There are some other friends that come up. Katie Douglas is Abby. You have Chelsea Clark as Nora. Raymond Black is Joe, and Joe has a coffee shop that's there, so you get to know him. I like how they do the back and forth between Georgia when she was younger and Georgia now. So then they have Nikki Rummel, who is the young Georgia, and shows you how hard it was for her to grow up. How she just had to like marry guys because they had money and let them treat her like crap just so Jenny, so
she could have a life.
Yes, exactly. But the person that you will remember is Jennifer Robertson, who plays Ellen Baker, and everybody knows her from Schitt's Creek. She is hilarious.
Which character did she play on there?
She played Jocelyn Shit.
Yeah,
so she was she was the mayor's wife. Yeah. Yes. Excuse me. So, great cast, good people. Some faces you've seen before, some faces you haven't. But it works. I like how it all comes together. I like how it's like a roller coaster of it's funny, but then it gets deep, and then it's emotional. It's like it's into a lot of things, but I like it. I'm really here for it, and I want this show to continue. Please go out and watch it. It's a really good show.
Watch it so it
can continue. Yeah. Because after the first season, I was like, I like this show. They're probably not gonna bring it back because I like it. Usually, if I like something, they don't bring it back.
Yeah, or sometimes people just wait until the second season so that they can make sure that they're investing their time in something that is actually going to make it to the second season.
It gets good.
Then that's probably going to be people watching.
So hopefully, let's hope so. Everybody go watch it. Ginny and Georgia on Netflix.
Okay. All
right, what you got next?
Well, I have a Netflix as well.
Hey, Netflix.
Yeah. So, Alice in Borderland.
Ooh, yeah.
Is what I have on Netflix. It is a show that is based in Tokyo. And it has an entire cast of actors from Tokyo, which I don't know, and I don't think most of us would probably know any of the actors. So I'm not even going to go through trying to go through the list. But if you like Squid Games and you thought that was kind of a twisted, interesting show to watch, then I would say Alice in Borderland is probably right there with you. It's the same as Squid Games too, where the mouths are moving differently than the words, and the subtitles you would see at the bottom, or you could turn on closed captioning so that you can read if you would like to do that. Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't bother me like it bothers some people. I was at a dinner this week and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I can't watch that because the mouth it doesn't move with the words and it makes them dizzy." They said, and I was like, when
I do it, when I'm watching and that happens, I focus on their mouth and I'm just like, now my brain is like, because I'm ADD, my brain's like, I wonder like what are they saying?
Like the real.
How does it break down? Like, and now I'll go on to like the translation of one language into another. My brain does too much. I can't do that when I'm trying to watch a movie.
I have to watch it and
but no, my brain don't work that way. So I mean, there are some things that I can watch like that and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But usually it's because something catches me at the first 2 seconds of the show and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then like my brain just goes into the show.
Right.
But if I'm trying to like watch something that I don't really know too much about. Like, I seen the trailer and I was like, oh, that might be interesting.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah.
Then after that, I'm just like, all right, so wait. I wonder what they're saying. I wonder if they use some of our words like we use. Okay.
Yeah,
and sometimes, then my brain just goes over.
Yeah, because for me, the interesting thing is that when that happens, it doesn't bother me typically. Excuse me. I can actually watch it, and once I'm in the movie or the show, I don't pay attention to their mouths moving anymore.
Oh, yeah, once I get into it.
Like, I'm just like, I mean, but it only takes me like the first 5 minutes. And then I'm just like, oh, okay, so the mouth is moving differently. But I just focus on the words and the actions of what's taking place on the screen. And I do read the bottom.
I do too.
I'll have the closed captions.
I have to have closed captions on when I watch TV.
And I'll read that, but I don't absolutely pay as much attention to the words moving differently, like how Money Heist was.
See, I didn't even watch Money Heist because of that. I tried.
Squid Game, Money Heist, and then of course this one, Alice in Borderland, and it was something else that I watched too that was like that.
But you know what?
Oh, the show was it Dark?
Oh yeah, you did tell me about Dark.
So I think
did you ever talk about Dark?
No, I didn't talk about Dark because I only watched the beginning of it, and I hadn't watched enough to feel like I could talk about it. But that show, the embarrassing thing with that one is, I don't know what language it is, but whatever it is, and I think that's the one, because Ragnarok, I don't think was it might have been in a different language too. The Ragnarok show, not Thor, but like the Ragnarok, okay. Anyway. It took me like 3 episodes in before I said, wait, are their mouths moving differently?
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So, yeah. I kind of did that with Cable Girls, and then my brain just stuck with it, and I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
I was just like, wait. I was just into the show, and just paying attention to what all was happening. And then I was like, wait, their mouths are moving. And maybe this isn't in English.
Yeah.
Like, who knew? So, but anyway, back to Alice in Borderland.
With that, just to say this really quick, another thing is, if the voices that they have doing the voiceover are absolutely like, I can look at that person and know that's not your voice.
Oh yeah, that messes it up.
That messes it up completely. Like, I can't do an annoying voice.
Yeah.
With something like that.
That happened to me in Money Heist. One of the characters, I feel like the character for Denver or something like that, because everything was different parts of the world. Everybody had a name. Stockholm, Denver, Tokyo, they all had name. Madrid. Everybody had a name of some place in the world as a nickname. And one of them, it was like, his voice is not that.
Exactly.
His voice is not that.
I can't get past that either. So all right, go ahead, continue.
All right, so Alice in Borderland. It is on Netflix. And again, if you like Squid Games, I would say you should definitely check this out. Just, the first couple of episodes, you'll know if you like it or not. Basically, it starts off with these 3 friends. So they're enjoying, gaming online, they're playing against each other, doing all that kind of stuff. And then one day they're just out and about in the city of Tokyo running amok. And, if you've ever watched even TikToks of Tokyo in different places, when the light turns green, cars are everywhere. Like, and everybody stops or runs across the street to get out of the way of the cars. And then when it turns green for you or the walking symbol, like, it's just flooded with all these people, right? So they're out there running amok in the city, playing, doing all this kind of stuff. And the light turns while they're still acting a fool in the middle of the street. And so what ends up happening is that the light turns, they now have to dodge cars, run around, causing an accident, the whole 9 yards. And now the police are trying to come after them like, hey, you're causing all this drama. We're coming after you. So they run inside like a subway area. They go into the bathroom. They all go into like a stall and they're like, we got to be quiet, but they're kind of giggling and, all of that. The lights flicker, go on and off. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, everything goes black. When the lights come back on, I think the lights come back on, but they sneak out of the stall because it's so quiet. And they're like, what the heck is going on? Why is it so quiet? When they come out of the stall, there is literally nobody in Tokyo.
Yeah, that was weird.
Nobody's in Tokyo. Like, nobody's in the bathroom. Nobody's in the subway station. Nobody is on the street. All those cars, all those people.
Everybody's disappeared.
Quiet. Disappeared. So they're just like, what is going on? Was there some kind of like military drill? Was there a bomb, threat or something like that? Like, what happened? And they did recognize there were fireworks that took place before they went into the subway station. So they kind of looked up and saw these fireworks and they were like, that's interesting. So did that impact why everybody is, missing? And so that's kind of how the story evolves. Like, was everybody evacuated? Where did everybody go? And then they are just like out and about in the middle of the street, like literally laying in the middle of those busy streets, just hanging out and talking to each other. And they're like, we got to figure something out. And then they start seeing something that directs them that they should go to a particular building.
Yeah.
So they go into that building, and once you walk into this building and walk past a certain little, you know how they always show on those movies where it's like the expensive jewels or whatever, and then they have those red lines, and so it's like if you walk past the red line, it sets off an alarm.
Yeah.
Well, in this instance, when they walk past the red line, it's set up that they were now a part of a real game, like a real life game.
Yeah.
And so they didn't kind of realize what they were getting themselves into, but it's like, well, now that you're in the game, you have to play. And it becomes the Squid Game kind of like game to the point that it's all about cards, and it's all about number cards or something with cards and the symbols. So it would be like, this is a 7 of clubs game, and then this is a 9 of hearts game. This is a 8 of spades or whatever. Yeah. So it's like all the different cards that aren't face cards are the ones that you are playing games. And this particular first one, and they play games throughout the whole season. I think it's probably 8 episodes per season. And there's 2 seasons out right now. All of the games are like a heart game means that probably somebody that you really care about could die. Like it's going to tug at your heart. You have to trust people that you don't know, work together with other people. But can you trust the other people that you're working with who are all also a part of this game? Not a lot of people. You can tell it's not all of Tokyo. So then it becomes like, oh, there's 15 people who are in this room. We all have to figure out how to survive this game. Other times it might be 50 people in the room and they have to figure out how to make it through the game. And who like sometimes it's about who is the bad character, like who is the person that did X, Y, and Z. Somebody's murdered on the floor. If y'all can figure out who did it, then y'all get to survive this game. If you don't survive the game, literally a laser from the sky comes down, shoots you in the head, and kills you.
Yeah.
Like that.
But also insane. Don't forget the force field thing. So like when you can walk into the game, but you can't walk out. You can't walk out.
So once you're in the game, you have to play the game. If you try to walk out, that'll kill you.
Yeah. Then you get another laser down from the heavens. Another laser.
And then if you tell the powers that be, whoever they are, that you want to be out of the game, then you get the laser too. Like, I'm done. I can't play these games
anymore. The only way out is death or just playing the
Continuing to play the next game and the next game and the next game. And so, and it's traumatic. Like, it's triggering in regards to seeing so many people die. And some of the games are where people are killing other people. So it's like, oh, you have to put the person on top of like a pit of fire if you think they're the ones who was the murderer. And they were like, well, let's just keep throwing people on the fire until we figure out who the murderer is and they will survive. And it's like, wait, that doesn't even make any sense.
That person is a horrible person.
Well, you have these groups or like, the mob mentality where everybody is like, oh yeah, that sounds good to me. And then one of the games is where you have a symbol on the back of your neck. And you have to ask somebody, can you tell me what symbol's on the back of my neck?
Oh.
When they see the symbol on the back of your neck, they can now tell the truth or they can lie to you.
Yeah.
When you go into your own room at night, they say, what is the symbol on the back of your neck? And if you say the wrong thing, the laser comes down.
Oh, so you're going to die.
Yep. So this one group was like, well, let's just do it as a group. So let's just have the whole group and you'll be able to hear the whole group, like, what's the symbol? And somebody will say spade. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, yeah, spade. Absolutely. It's a spade. Like, yes. Okay. We're all in agreement. Okay. Now I'll look at you. Okay. It's a heart.
So everybody's all together. That's smart.
Until somebody is like, we need to kill that person. So when I say something wrong, you agree.
Oh.
You see what I mean? It's like a very
tricky
and twisted game. And that game itself probably started off with like, I don't know, 30 people and ended up down to like 3.
Man.
And the thing is that there was supposed to be one person who the players of the game selected as being the one who would give the wrong answers to people. Like you are the mole, so to speak, like that TV show was. So the one person who was the mole, once you tell the mole the wrong thing and the mole is knocked out, everybody else lives. You have to get the mole out, but you don't know who the mole is. So then it's like, how do you figure out who's the mole to get them out so that way the rest of the people can live? So it's a very weird, twisted show to watch, but it's like, if you like Squid Games and just the craziness of that, then I mean, I was here for it. You know, I don't know what that says about me.
Yeah.
But probably what it says about millions of people, because so many people have watched Squid Games and are waiting for the second season of that. And this is in the second season of Alice in Borderland. The second season is all about the face cards. The face cards
instead of the...
Yep, so it's a king of something, queen of hearts, the Jack and the whatever. And then they even alluded to the fact that there could be a third season. So...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's what I said. The next one's going to have to be what? The Joker?
I don't know. Yeah. But potentially. Yeah. Because, I mean, the good thing is the way that the show ended, it's like, okay, if it ends like this, I'm good. Yeah. But if there is another season, I'm here for it. Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. But also,
that fire one, the fire rooms.
Oh, yeah. That was the first one.
And that guy was so smart.
Yeah, that was the first one where you had two doors to choose. And you almost had one with an angel and one was a devil.
It was like life or death.
Yep. Yeah. So it was like a life door or a death door. And it was like, well, who's going to choose death? You know, like, why would you choose that door? But sometimes that was the right door to go into. And you had a short amount of time to make a decision as a group, because the room you're standing in is getting ready to burst into flames.
Yeah.
So it's like
a countdown, yeah.
So it counts down to burst into flames, and you have to make the right decision. If you go through the wrong door, the laser comes at you. If you go through the right door, you can be in that room
and go through another door.
To pick between two more doors. And this guy was so smart that he was like, well, when we were outside of the building, I remember on the left-hand side, there was only a half an inch of a space before the next building, but on the other side, there was more room. So I'm thinking we would go to the door that says death. Yeah. And then it was like, but that doesn't even make any sense. So, you know, it was like trying to figure it out based on what he was realizing from outside of the building and the layout. And so it was like, are you picking life? Are you picking death? Okay, if we pick death here, maybe it's death again. Could it be life? But you got to make a decision. You're going to be on fire.
Yeah, you're going to burn.
You're going to burn. So you're going to burn, or you can be lasered, or make it through. Those were the options. So anywho, but that is Alice in Borderland on Netflix. And that's my second one. So what do you have as your third?
So for my last one, I don't even know what to call this, so I'm going to say it's a documentary / dramatization.
Oh, but KB?
Docutization.
Okay.
I don't know. So it's called Blood, Sex, and Royalty. This is also on Netflix.
Okay.
Now this is the docutization of the life of Anne Boleyn and King Henry. Now, the reason why I'm here for this is because I feel like stuff like this should be in schools to keep kids' attention when you're trying to teach them things. Okay? All right. So how this works is you have actors and actresses that are acting. Now, I know y'all have heard me talk before about Emily Dickinson's show.
Yes.
And how it was like, it was very much all about Emily Dickinson, but it's like more like newer music. So you might have some like pop or like some hip hop or you know some like different kinds of music, some EDM, whatever. So this is like that. You have some joking. You have like an interview type thing. So this is literally Anne Boleyn giving her interview about what happened between her and King Henry. But as they're acting this out, it goes to clips of actual historians talking about, you know, exactly what happened. Yeah. Like breaking it down. Mm-hmm. But I just love that connection. That's the way that they should teach history. Yeah. Forever, because it's going to stick with you. You're going to see it and hear it at the same time.
I told you when you had mentioned that you were watching that. What's the name of it again?
Blood, Sex, and Royalty.
Blood, Sex, and Royalty. When you had mentioned it, I was like, oh, that sounds like drunk history in a way. Yeah. Because it's like you're hearing somebody talk about it and then they show a reenactment while somebody's talking about it, kind of thing. You know, I mean, I know it's more serious.
Yeah, it's more serious than that, yeah.
Realistic. But that was the only visual that I had to go to of how it potentially could come across.
But, I mean, it's so good. So like the ladies will the ladies and the gentlemen will come on. The historians will come on, and they'll be like, so now Anne is feeling this way about this, and blah 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 blah. And then it clips to the clip of like it's like they made a movie, And then they did an interview with some historians, and they stuck the interview about the historians in there with the historians in there about it, because it's Anne Boleyn. It's basically just think of a movie about Anne Boleyn and King Henry, and it's supposed to be like a interview with Anne Boleyn, being like, hey, so tell me about how you and Henry met. She's like, oh, well, he saw me and I saw him, blah, 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 blah. So it's like that, so where it actually could be a movie. But then also you have the historians that pop in there and talk about this stuff at the same time. So I love that. I need more of this in my life.
There you go.
So good. So just to go over some of the actors and actresses, bear with me, because I don't know if I'm going to jack up some of these names or not, but let's hope I am not. So you have Amy James Kelly, who is playing Anne Boleyn. She does a great job as an actress for Anne Boleyn. Max Parker as King Henry.
Okay.
Now you have Adam Astill as Thomas Boleyn, and this is Anne Boleyn's father, who was also the Viscount. He was working with the king, and like he was the Viscount, and I guess I can't remember, was it I guess he's an accountant or something like that for the king. Okay. Something for the king. You got Louise Robin Platt. That's Mary Boleyn. That's Anne Boleyn's sister.
Okay.
Then I'm trying to think if there's anyone that y'all really know. I don't think there's anybody that like a lot of people really know. But I just want to say some of the historians that they have. Susanna Lipscomb, she's really good. You got Tracy Borman, who's a historian. Lauren McKay. Owen Emerson, like these are actual historians that study Anne Boleyn, so they actually are playing just themselves. They just pop up like for an interview.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, just to start off, so how it gets into it, the little movie part of it, how it gets into it. So Anne Boleyn's watching. She's with her friend. Lady W is what she says, she looks into the screen. She was like, that's my bestie, Lady W, So they are at some event that the king's having. The king's drunk and he's wrestling men. Of course, because when men get drunk, they have to wrestle each other.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So the king ends up slipping, falling, and like losing the match. So Anne just giggles. And he was just like, do I know you? Like, who are you?
Right.
And it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, like, Your Majesty, blah, blah, blah. And he is, like, infatuated with her because everyone else is like, you did a great job, my lord.
Yeah.
Good job. And she's just like, yeah, you probably shouldn't wrestle when you're drunk.
Oh.
Not a good look for you. You are the king and stuff. So he's just like, wow, I got this woman who, like, she's telling me about myself, and she's probably the only woman who really don't want to be with me. She's probably like,
right. Now I want her.
Now I want her.
I
She is mine. I must have her. Yeah. So it shows how bad King Henry wanted Anne while he was married to his brother's wife. So now what happened was his brother was a king, dies.
I remember that.
Was married to Catherine of Aragon.
Okay.
Because
you sound like Game of Thrones names.
I know, right? Because they didn't, because apparently the marriage was not consummated.
No.
There was no heir. When the brother took place, because they loved Catherine of Aragon so much, she was a boss, okay?
Okay.
Like, England loved her. She's from Spain, but England loved her. They was just like, yo, she's a boss, bro. Whatever she needs, I got it. So her and King Henry get together now, she is, it's like a war coming up. She's pregnant with his baby, and she is fighting in the war on horseback at 9 months pregnant.
Oh, wow. That's some skill.
Yo, like, that's a boss.
That's a boss.
That's a boss. She's the queen. I mean, she's the king, okay?
She's strong.
Yeah, she's the king. So, because he liked her so much and was like with Catherine, who he didn't really want to be with, it's just like, hey, bruh, you gotta marry your brother's wife because, he's gone now.
Yeah.
So Anne keeps refusing him. She doesn't want to be a mistress. She don't want to be a side piece. Okay. So and then her sister has already been inside, please. And supposedly she's supposed to be pregnant with his baby. Oh my goodness. But then also the sister was like, I mean, it could be his, but then also I did kind of mess with this person and this person. So it's all around the same time. Yeah. I don't know whose baby it is right now. Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not slut shaming. I'm loving it. I'm here for it. Do your thing, boo. So, there from there, with Anne refusing him and not really wanting to be that, made him want her more.
Okay, yeah.
Now he's like doing anything and everything. He's like, I'm going to annul my marriage. He's going on little dates with her, little riding dates with Anne. He's like, don't worry, we're going to be together. I'm going to annul my marriage. And every time he tries to like kiss her passionately, she's like, okay, thanks. That was fun. Take me back. Yeah. Horse and carriage, please. Take me back to where I need to go. So now he's just like, I need to do this because you are the only, like, you do not give in to me and I want you. So therefore, I need to figure out, I'm going to talk to the Pope and the Pope's going to annul my marriage to Catherine. Oh. It's going to have to. There's no way that he can't.
No way around it.
And if that was the whole thing, ends up, the Pope was like, yeah, bro, no, not
going to do it.
We ain't doing this. So, as that's going on, there is a gentleman, William Tinsdale, okay, who is taking the Bible. Okay. And now the Bible is supposed to be in Latin. King Henry only wants the Bible to be read in Latin. Okay. William Tinsdale is just like, bro, we're English. We'll make it English. I'm going to translate it into English. This is blasphemy. This is horrible. The king is like, no, we're not doing this. So we need to find this guy. This guy is like, when they find him, bro, kill him on sight. I don't care. Wow. He is just making a mockery of me running this kingdom and blah, 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 blah. So William Tinsdale is just hiding from the king. Okay. So later on, Anne tells the king, hey, my brother gave me this book called The Obedience of a Christian Man, and it is by William Tinsdale. Now, her telling him that is very bad because if you have that book, you're set to death. You're put to death. Anything from Tinsdale, they're hanging you, they're chopping your head off, guillotine, I don't know, all that. All of that. So, since somebody had found what the book that her brother had given her, now there is the whole, oh snap, this person who don't like me found the book. So now I gotta go ahead and tell him. So she just comes up and she was like, Henry, it's something I need to tell you. And then she's like, here, this is the book. And he's just like, how dare you do this and go against me, your king, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, I just want to let you know, in this book, it says the king runs everything and the Pope has nothing. The Pope can't tell the king what to do. Oh. And he was just like, all right, tell me more about this book.
Yeah, I like this book. Yeah.
Tell me more. And the guy who's like trying to, get rid of her is there. And he's just like, oh, I was coming to tell you something, but I see she already told you. She confessed. So, excuse me. So that ends up making a big mess. Now, there is like the king ends up slowly making changes. Okay. To everything because of the fact that he wants to marry Anne. Now, while this is happening, and he's trying to figure this out, what does he do? He moves Anne in with him and Catherine of Aragon.
Okay.
And there is actual proof in history that they sat down at the same table, the three of them, and played a card game. What?
Yeah.
What? Like, the historian was like, there is actual proof that this card game did happen. Right. Now, it is very awkward when you see it on the show, but it is kind of cute how they play it off so like that. So, now with the king making all these changes to court, it's causing so much drama. Now, the king and Anne finally get it to where they can be married. They go by the book, and the king is the top and everything. But this is the issue. Not everyone in court is agreeing with this. Okay. So it's like, bro, I understand. You've been saying William Tinsdale is the horrible person, but now you're saying, oh, William Tinsdale's book says this, so I need to do it because it benefits you. You like it. When it didn't benefit you, you didn't like it. So now everything's going awry.
Right.
All right. So now that they're married, they end up getting married. Now she's with child. She has a girl. The king's pissed off. He's like, I wanted a boy. I need an heir. I have to have an heir. Then she tries again. Bam. She has a miscarriage. Still no heir. So now he gets mad. And now he's starting to cheat on her with her handmaid.
Oh, my goodness.
Because of the fact that he's just like, you ruined me. I was fine until I saw you that day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But honestly, she didn't ruin him. Bro, you chased her. She kept saying no to you. Yeah. That's on you.
Yeah, exactly.
KH,
don't be trying to gaslight her.
Yeah. He's like, this is all your fault. But all I did was tell you, hey, don't be drinking when you wrestle, and you should read this book. That's all I said. You was the one who fell head over heels in love with me. So, with Anne being so mad, she wants to have his love, but he's so mad with her that he's like, with all of this, he's trying to figure out, how can I get rid of her? Now, since she has not produced an heir to him, he can go ahead and have her killed. And then he will be able to marry again.
Oh, my goodness.
So, what does he do? Yep, you did say something foul about me. Like, the charges were like, you said something foul in the king's name, so whatever she said about him. There was something like, well, the only way I'm getting out of this marriage is if anything happens to the king. And it was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, you can't say that, right?
So, from there, she gets arrested, charged with so many other things, and then they pull her brother into it because her brother gave her the book. Then they say, oh, you and your brother have had relations, so you cheated on the king, and then there were other men that you've had relations with, so we're putting them all to death.
Wow.
And that's when it goes into, you see her, she's still doing her little interview, and then she was like, yeah, then that's when it happened. He gave grace to me by not giving me an axe, but a sword.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then that's it. That's the end of that. So it's just that whole beheading of Anne Boleyn, how it started, all the drama, and then the end. The way they did this, I love it. I freaking love it.
Okay.
It was so good. It kept my attention. History stuff doesn't usually keep my attention. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But like this, if they did stuff like this, you know, when you're like in school and you have a substitute and they're like, we're going to watch this movie about blah, blah, blah. This is what you can do. This is only 3 episodes. They're like, it's like a mini series.
Oh, okay. So it's really short watch.
Really short. So if you have the time and you like history, you want to see like anything about this, check it out. Blood, Sex, Royalty. It's on Netflix. And also listening to the soundtrack that they have for this, kind of fire. I think I would listen to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what do you got?
All right. Well,
what's your last thing?
My last thing, and it's a terrible topic, but it's something that, you know, came out this week that I still haven't watched, but is the body camera footage from Tyre Nichols with the police officers. I haven't watched it. I probably won't watch it. It's a friend of mine who did watch it and was like, I was on the phone with her as she was watching it, and she was like, don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Like, it's horrific. Yeah. It's horrific and brutal. And so, but I just wanted to at least bring up this topic as a current event that has taken place that just shows that regardless of anything, race, whatever the case may be, that there are people out here who just have brutal mindsets. Like, there was this group of men who were officers, and literally while this gentleman was handcuffed, beat him to death, for a lack of a better way of saying it. And I'm not even going to say any of their names, but they were literally known, it sounds like, in Memphis as being this gang of police officer thugs that would go around. They have beaten other people before. They have hurt other people before. People knew of them. They never got in trouble for anything. No one ever said anything. Everybody was probably too scared to say anything. And this was the result of that. And so I know people probably are familiar. The body camera image came out this week, and it, from every aspect, has been horrific. They actually thought that there would be like violence in the streets. Like once people saw it, they said,
they started boarding up stuff and everything very soon because they knew what they were going to release.
They knew what they were going to release. And they talked to Tyree's mom, and she was just saying, look, I want to make sure that the brutality of what they did to my son is public and is known, but I don't want there to be anything happening in the streets.
No kind of retaliation.
Right, exactly. Let's be peaceful. If there's any protest, let there be peaceful protests, which seems to be what has taken place. But it's just, I mean, they just said, like, I was looking at something, I think it might have been on CNN or something like that, but it was basically the journalist was talking to a police commissioner in Memphis who had seen it before they released it. And he was like, is it like Rodney King's, video that you saw? And she said, like that, if not worse. Jeez, so if that just puts things into perspective. So I just wanted to just say, just prayers to his family, to Tyre Nichols' family, and just giving them the strength to get through all of this, because it's just a horrific tragedy. And like I said, I probably will not watch the video. I don't think that I'm built for that. Like, I don't want the image,
exactly,
and everybody that, was looking at it, like even on my Facebook feed, it was just people who were saying, don't watch it. I've been crying. I've been holding my children, all of those kind of things as they were watching it. So I just think that it is, to the point that they said the officers, when they finally did put him in a car to take him, they didn't even call an ambulance for him. They were just taking him to the hospital. But when they did put him in the car, they were so exhausted and out of breath and hurting themselves.
Jesus.
Like, oh my gosh, whew, and it's like, what did you do to this person while they were handcuffed? Like, why? Why is this
they're handcuffed, man?
necessary? So anyway, I hate to end on a down note, but at the same time,
it's life,
it's something that needed to be acknowledged as an event that took place. And like I said, I just want to make sure that we are praying for his family, for their peace, their comfort, and them just getting justice. Getting justice, because for these men, if they ended up in general population as police officers, I don't think there's many people who would be upset about it, though. You know what I mean? Because of what they unfortunately did to this young man. So, not wishing violence on anyone, but at the same time,
that's our reality that we live in. Yeah.
It's a horrible world sometimes. So. Anyway, on that note, thank you all so much for joining us on Sestra-Tainment. We love you guys. Everybody be peaceful and have a great week.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.